Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Monday, December the 2nd. We're a little over 3 weeks away from Christmas. That being said, a Christmas present for Washington Capitals fans could be an early return by Ovechkin. He was spotted skating today at practice. Now, obviously, he's still a little ways away, but since he's dealing with a broken fibula, if he's skating, right? The timeline for his return was seen as late December, early January. That is still the official timeline. I'm going to go ahead and pretend I'm surprised when he ends up being cleared to play a little earlier than that. It's Ovechkin. He does not like to spend time on the sideline. He does not like to spend time watching his team play. Even if they're playing really well, I think he still wants to be in the lineup. He'd prefer to be out there helping them win rather than watching them win. So, yeah, I don't think Ovechkin's going to be out as long as expected. Jeff Skinner. So I'm kind of interested in how this breaks today. We know that they track embellishment, and that first off you get a warning, and then second off you get a fine, and then I think there's just more fines from there. There isn't actually a suspension you can get for embellishment, but Jeff Skinner has been fined for embellishment. Apparently he was warned after the game against Carolina on October 22nd, and he's been fined for an incident November 23rd against the New York Rangers. So for the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, it's just basically a case of, I guess, the coach can tell him, knock it off. But yeah, Jeff Skinner, the first one I've seen in a while to be fined for embellishment. And I know that it does happen in the NHL. I do find it interesting that they can, fine them a few $1,000s, couple $1,000. I don't know that necessarily changes the behavior, though. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Jeff Skinner is one of the more prevalent divers in the National Hockey League? I don't really pay that much attention to it. There are times where referees call embellishment, and I'm like, but is it though? Like, especially when it's tripping. One of the things that drives me insane is when it's a tripping penalty, and then the guy falls down, and because you think the way that he fell down is a little bit embellishy, then it's a 4-on-4. Oh, okay. It's a weird thing with today's National Hockey League, and I'm not sure that I understand the point of it. Honestly, there are times where, yeah, the embellishment's kind of obvious, but there are other times where I think it's kind of borderline. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Flames injury news. Kirkland is on the injured reserve list, which is sad for their shootout attempts, of course. Pelche and Dewar recalled. Now, Jacob Pelche cleared waivers before the season started, but he's had a very good year so far in the American Hockey League. So this could work out quite well for Pelche, for the Flames. We'll see. Dewar being recalled as well. We know he can be a regular in the National Hockey League. So, yeah, we'll see how the lineup for the Flames looks in their next game. But they're going to miss Kirkland, right? Mostly on the shootout attempts. That move works for him every time. Interesting news out of Montreal. Roy has been returned to Laval, and there's speculation that Laine could make his debut. I haven't seen confirmation yet that it's going to happen, although Laine's post on Instagram would seem to indicate that he's coming back this week. So there's the chance that his debut could be imminent. The Habs play against the Islanders tomorrow, so it is possible that Patrick Laine returns there, and Montreal needs him. They're 4-7-2 record. The 10 points they had since the 1st of November. When I was doing the preview board for today, I did notice Montreal at the very bottom of the league in terms of points over the last month. So they definitely need a little infusion of goals. Laine will provide that for them. So it seems that Team Canada's goaltenders have leaked out a bit. So I'm wearing the old Team Canada from 1972 Canada Cup jersey here because there's been a lot of discussion about the goaltending and the decisions that were made. Apparently John Cooper had a lot of say in this too because he's going to be the coach of the team, right? So it looks like it's going to be Binnington, Skinner, and Hill who are representing Canada. And in the back of my mind, I keep thinking, couldn't they get like Igor Shesterkin, like dual citizenship with Canada, or Sorokin or somebody? But yeah, so those are the three goaltenders. I think Binnington's the starter out of the three. I'm kind of surprised Logan Thompson didn't make it out into this group. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't Binnington, Thompson, and Hill based on how they're playing this season. But keep in mind, Binnington, 2019 Stanley Cup. Aiden Hill, 2023 Stanley Cup, and Stuart Skinner was on an Edmonton team that went all the way to the final. Team Canada is going to be able to score. They're going to have an elite defense as well. I think that the goaltending thing gets blown out of proportion a little bit because international tournaments very often can be just, I mean, fantastic. All-Star game like at points. I don't know how physical this Four Nations tournament's going to be, for instance, but there's definitely a lot of hype for the Four Nations tournament. All this discussion of the first, best on best tournament we've seen in a long time. We'll see if it lives up to the hype or if it doesn't. Again, that tournament coming up in February, and it'll be interesting to see how everything goes there. But I'm not concerned with Canada's goaltending because I think they'll be able to score enough, and I think that defense should be absolutely fantastic. I also think the American team, it's really their tournament to lose. I think I don't want to undersell the Swedes and the Finns either, though, because Sweden and Finland have a lot of players who've played together at international tournaments before. These guys know each other, and very often as underdogs, Finns can be quite good at overachieving. So it should be an interesting tournament. Let me know your thoughts on Canada's goaltending, who you would have picked, and all that fun stuff. Your 3 stars of the week in the National Hockey League. Macklin Celebrini, not only your rookie of the month in November, but player of the week this week. 4 games for San Jose, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. The kid seems to have arrived. Quinn Hughes of the Canucks, the second All-Star. 4 games, 1 goal, 8 assists, 9 points. It's a recall from the Kopitar Barkov video that I just did. Talking about first and second team. Your third All-Star of the week is Jacob Chychrun. 4 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. And just so people know, the Barkov Kopitar video that I just did, if you haven't checked it out, it's not like 100% serious. Mostly serious though. But yeah, Chychrun, third star from Washington, 7 points in 4 games. He really seems to have got things together recently. And Chychrun playing the best hockey I think he's played since he was playing with the Coyotes. Tyler Seguin, undisclosed injury. He's been placed on IR. No idea what's going on there, but it's IR, so he'll be out for at least a week. And Stankoven returns after missing the last 2 for Dallas in their game tonight against Utah. So, be interesting to see how the lines shake out and if Dallas can build on what they did against Winnipeg, or if Utah is able to defeat another team that might feel pretty good about themselves the way Vegas did after beating Winnipeg, and then they fell against Utah. So, we'll see how Dallas does tonight. Detroit calls up Casa. He's recalled on an emergency basis. Talbot's injured. He pulled himself out of that game against the Canucks yesterday. Husso went in. Husso was good. Husso's expected to start the next game. As for Patrick Kane, he is not expected to play tomorrow, but he could return for Detroit on Thursday. So Patrick Kane out of the lineup, that hurts from an experience standpoint for Detroit. And so we'll see how things go with the goaltending too, with Talbot out of the lineup. At least briefly, if they've called up Casa on an emergency basis, maybe it's just a day-to-day thing with Talbot. Ross Colton, who's been out of the lineup for a while with the Colorado Avalanche, returned to practice today, and he'll be traveling with the team on their 5-game road trip. He will not play tomorrow against Buffalo, but he could play later in said road trip. And of course, for Colton, he had a fantastic start to the season. He'll be looking to pick up where he left off when he comes back to the lineup. Chinikov. Upper body injury for Chinikov of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's not with the team to start their road trip this week. He could play later in the trip. They've called up Putia. Dean Evison saying they had to call somebody up because the only extra body they had that was healthy was Jack Johnson, and he wanted to have a little more flexibility with the lineup. So Putia has been recalled, and we'll see what Columbus's lineup looks like in Calgary tomorrow. The Carolina Hurricanes, dealing with injury issues in net, have signed Dustin Tokarski to a 2-way deal for the rest of this season. Tokarski is on waivers today. He'll clear waivers. He'll be sending down to Charlotte. It's just they have Martin. They have Parrots up right now. Kochetkov's not far out, but still, they could use some depth in goal. And Tokarski's a veteran who has plenty of AHL experience, some NHL experience as well, so it makes sense to get him signed. So we'll see if that changes anything for Carolina's goaltending over the short term. I'm not thinking so. I don't think like Tokarski will push Parrots out necessarily, but we'll see how things go for Carolina. Of course, if you're a Canes fan, you're hoping Kochetkov's back soon enough that won't necessarily be a discussion point. Mark Stone spotted at practice today in Vegas. He seems to be wearing a no-contact jersey. At least I put non-contact because everybody on the ice skating around in white jerseys. His is bright red, which means no contact. But he's back in a non-contact jersey. Probably, I would think usually when guys are at practice in a non-contact jersey, you're looking at probably about a week away. Vegas has missed Stone, definitely, so it'll be nice to see him back in the lineup when it takes place. They have also waived Neil Chayka with the purpose of contract termination. So once he has cleared these unconditional waivers, his contract will be terminated. We do occasionally see that during the season. It's usually players who might be in the minors and have an opportunity to play overseas. So that's probably the case with Chayka as well. My guess is probably a KHL contract. I haven't seen that as of yet. I've just seen that he's on waivers for contract termination. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.